In this video, we're going to talk about how to deal with difficult clients. Hi, it's Karolyn. If you want to learn how to bake and decorate amazing cakes, then I would love for you to join me by hitting subscribe and the bell. Difficult customers. It happens in business. For the most part, people are awesome, and sometimes people suck. And I want to give you a couple different scenarios, things that have happened to me over the past 20 years, how I handled the situation, and what I have done to make sure that it doesn't happen to me again. All right, difficult customer number one, which I like to call Kakezilla. The person who is like a bridezilla, but it's over cake. So they're not necessarily getting married, but they stinking want to be on your, can I say ASS on my channel? They want to be on your behind about every little stinking detail about the cake, and it is so exhausting dealing with someone like this. I had it happen to me years ago, and it was one and done. I'm not going to deal with people like this. She wanted progress pictures of the cake. Like, seriously? Ugh. So actually, this is the first time someone ever asked me to do a progress picture. So I sent her a progress picture when she asked me, and she was like, where's the name? Where's this? Where's that? And I'm like, I didn't even freaking finish it yet. Why am I yelling? I was so annoyed. Nobody gets progress pictures. No, you don't get to see it while it's being made, right? And they're the same people who want sketches, and it's just so exhausting. So the way that I deal with it now is that I don't deal with it. I will not take an order from someone who is being overbearing. I can't handle it. It's too much stress. I have enough stress trying to make all the cakes right now, right? Like, I can't handle it. So if I feel that energy coming from someone, I will just give them their deposit back and say, look, you're going to want to find someone else to make your cake because I ain't the one. Right? So just try, if you're getting a vibe from someone and you're feeling that it's a little weird, it's a little off, it's a little too stressful, I would just give it away. It's worth your peace of mind to not have to deal with something like that. Number two is the price haggler. And we've all dealt with this, especially if you're in business for yourself, but I think all businesses deal with this, right? So especially when you're starting out in the beginning, people are going to want to try to haggle you for your price to get the price down. And it's, well, first of all, it's super annoying because you wouldn't go to their job and say, I expect you to work extra hours and long hours and I'm going to pay you less. And they would be okay with it, right? So why do they do it to us? For some reason, they just think that we should give them a discount because we should be grateful for their business. And while we are grateful for the business, that is not fair to ask someone just to discount their prices out of nowhere. Like, I've said this in another video before, but I love Eddie Murphy. Like, what have you done for me lately? Right? Like, what? Do I know you? Why don't you pay me more? I'm going to ask you to pay me more. Oh my gosh. Wait, I'm freaking out a little bit right now, but it's just a topic that everyone goes through it, and it's a very sensitive topic because you feel undervalued, right? When somebody asks you to do that, it's like, well, okay, I'll discount you $50 on your cake, but you're going to get a discounted cake. It's not going to be like the best cake that I've ever made, right? And I use this analogy all the time too. I wouldn't walk into Neiman Marcus and try to go buy some Louboutin shoes and say, well, I just came from Steve Madden and they were only $50. And try to get the price down. Like, you pay for brands, you pay for art. Like, that's part of it. It's not just cake. You're getting the experience, if you will. So my advice is to stand firm in your pricing. Don't start to reduce your prices when people ask just because you're going to be known as the girl or the guy who just haggle her or him, and you will be able to reduce the price. And you don't want that name out there for you. So stand firm in your price, be confident, and be willing to lose a sale to be firm in your pricing. When you are confident and firm in your pricing, people will feel that from you and people will be willing to pay for it. So yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but try to stand firm in your pricing and don't negotiate. Don't let people make you feel bad for charging what you want to charge, right? Because then I'm telling you, and it's happened all the time, you're going to be making a cake and you're going to be annoyed and it's not going to turn out right because you're going to be so annoyed that you're making this cake at a discounted rate. Difficult customer number three. The one who expects free tastings for a small 6-inch cake that they want to order. Now listen, I am more than willing to do discounted tastings or free tastings for cakes that are huge and it's going to take a lot of time and they're investing a lot of money in it. Yes. However, my tastings, which I do have a video on how I do my tester boxes, and I will put that up there or below or both. And I make cupcakes and I put the container, or I put the fillings in small containers, and you label it and you have to buy the supplies and the ingredients and you bake it. And it's like, it takes time. Like, you don't get that for free. So if somebody is getting on you for a free tasting, I wouldn't necessarily offer it for free. You could say, hey, I will make you a dozen cupcakes if you want to try one flavor, and they could try it that way. I could do that for $10. But if you want to try a bunch of different flavors, this is how much it's going to cost. And that goes right back to the pricing. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't charge. It's your business. And if they want to make you feel bad about charging for tastings, then you probably don't want the order anyway. Difficult customer number 4. Wait, am I on number 4? I think I'm on number 4. This is the person who wants to do something for you and then ask for you to give a cake in exchange. So it's kind of like a barter, if you will, a trade. So I had a lady before ask me, and I've said this in a video before, to make a cake for her for free in exchange for a massage. And that ain't no even trade, okay? You want me to work for 5-6 hours, pay for supplies, ingredients, and everything, and you want to massage me for 1 hour? Like, are you kidding me? I still get a little annoyed at it. But if you're going to do a cake in exchange, you need to make sure that it is an even exchange. And also another thing is charity donations. It is hard, and I get it. It's hard to say no to charity requests, and I get them all the time. And what I have done is I have a charity that I like to donate to, that's where my focus is. For the most part, I really don't have a lot of time in my schedule to make these big cakes and be able to donate them. I would offer some cupcakes, some undecorated cupcakes that I could do. However, I do have a charity, Holton's Heroes. It's my friend's charity that I like to donate to a lot. And other than that, I know it's hard to turn people down. So I would say just pick a charity. It's like Oprah. Right? Oprah gets requests all the time. She got $1 billion, right? She focuses on certain charities where she'll donate her time and her money. And that's my recommendation too. Difficult customer number 5. And I think we're on 5, right? I really hope I'm following this right. So people who give you a hard time about paying them or paying you when you ask them to. When they don't want to send a deposit in, when they're like, can I send it in 3 days? Can I send it in a week? When you're asking for the balance and they don't want to send it in. Or even worse off, having someone ghost you and not showing up and not even picking up the cake. So that has happened to me before. I didn't require the balance to be paid until they picked it up. Well, I made an entire cake and the lady never showed, and I still get mad about it. However, I put something in place now where the entire balance of the cake must be paid in full 10 days prior to pickup or delivery. No exceptions. I can't make exceptions because then I'm all over the place trying to figure out where to chase people for money. So that is in the email, in the original email when I send it out when people first order the cake so they know what to expect. And even at that, not too long ago, I had a guy order a cake and it was in the email that the balance was due 10 days before. And 10 days prior, when I contacted him for the balance, he was like, that's ridiculous. I've never paid anything in full before I picked it up or something like that. And I'm like, well, I guess you never ordered a plane ticket, right? Because you got to pay for that in full before you get it. But anyway, so I told him, I sent back his deposit and just texted him, you're going to want to find someone else to make your cake because I ain't dealing with it. Like, I can't. If you want to argue with me over paying me, then you're going to complain about every little thing on the cake when you pick it up. So I can't even deal. And another, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but there was another time, and it was a couple years ago. This girl, she was Venmoing me her payment as she was picking it up, right? So this is before I required it 10 days prior. She was outside. I'm standing there with the cake. She's in the car with her friend. and she's trying to Venmo me, and the Venmo, her app wasn't working. It wasn't going through. And I was like, well, there's a convenience store down the street. There's a Wawa. I don't know if you guys know what that is. There's a Wawa down the street. You can go hit the ATM and pay for it. She gave me such an attitude. I don't understand why you can't just give me the cake. What, you know, you see that it's not working here. Like, first of all, I would never do that to someone. I would never bully someone like that, right? And she just, her and her friend, they got on me, and then I gave them the cake. And I know I shouldn't have, and she was like, I'll pay you, I'll pay you. Well, she didn't pay me for a whole week, and I didn't even text her. After she took the cake, I was like, well, I guess I just lost all that money because she's never gonna send it to me. And I think she was like trying to teach me a lesson. Like, how dare I ask for the balance of the cake before I give it to you? You ever go into Target and check yourself out and take all the stuff and say, I'll pay you later, my app's not working? Like, ugh. And I'm so mad that I let them do that to me. And that's why I require payment 10 days prior. Just have something set in stone that is non-negotiable, so that doesn't happen to you. Difficult customer number 6 is the last minute change person. Like, you're going back and forth forever, and then 2 days before pickup, can I change the flavor? Well, I already baked it and it's in the freezer, so you know, you can't change the flavor, or they want to change the design, or there's so many less people showing up. Like, no, you can't do that. Just like the 10-day payment requirement, I also have a 10-day lockout period. So when you submit the final payment, you cannot make any changes, nothing after that. So you better make sure that you're ordering what you want, because that's what I'm going to make. Okay, customer number 7 is the one who assumes that just by asking you if you can make a cake, that they're in your book and you're going to make it for them. Which has happened to me, which is the reason why in the signature of every single email that I send out, it says an inquiry about a cake does not mean that you have a spot. I must receive a deposit to secure a spot in my book. Like, you can't just say, hey, can you make a cake for May 8th? And I say, yeah, I have May 8th open. And then you never correspond with me. You never send a deposit. Like, you're not in my book. So that has to be relayed. I don't know why people think that, but you ain't in my book. You need to pay money. You need to give me a deposit and show me that you want to buy this cake. Like, I ain't just making a cake. So that is the way that I avoid that from happening anymore. I have that blurb in the bottom in the signature of every single email. I need a deposit. And if they say they didn't see it, it's right there. You can't say you didn't see it. It's everywhere. And I was just going to say something and I totally forgot. So on to the next one. Okay, customer number 8. I'm going to say, and this is one where you need to trust your intuition, go with your instincts, where something feels a little off. So I had somebody order or call me to order a cake. And when she was ordering, she was very, very specific. Like, people don't order cakes like this. She was like, I need a 6-inch and an 8-inch cake. And she was so specific about what she wanted. Like, people don't order like that. People will say, I need a cake to feed 30 people for this certain date. She was very specific about the sizes and like exactly what she wanted. And it just sounded off to me. When I was corresponding with her, she had a credit card to pay with. And I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And I turned down the order, said I couldn't make it. And just to find out that there was like some kind of scam going on, I can't even remember what they were doing, but they were using a credit card, I think, and then they were going to dispute the charge on their card and then you wouldn't get paid or something like that. Whatever it was. I don't know, something stupid. But I just want to say, if something feels a little off or iffy, trust your gut, trust your instinct. It's better to let that go and not have to deal with it than to be caught in some kind of weird scam. All right, difficult customer number 9 is the one who doesn't care about your time. So they're coming to pick up a cake and this has happened to me before. I'm on my way, I'll be there in 20 minutes. 2 hours later, I'm like, where the heck is this person? So they finally answer the phone and, oh, I had to stop at Target and then I had to get gas and then I was going to come over. Like, you want to tell me? Like, I'm sitting here waiting for you. And I think people think because you're not a business, or they think that it is like going to a bakery, like you could just show up at any time. However, no. So, and also one time I had a delivery where I called the girl and she knew that I was meeting her somewhere to pick up the cake. There was a bad storm and I still drove in the storm. She didn't show up. She didn't show up. And she said there was a bad storm. I didn't think that you were going to come. What? So in order to avoid that, I set time limits. So you can pick up your cake on Saturday between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. After that, I have an appointment. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. That's what I say. I'm leaving. And you could really go somewhere. Maybe I go to the park. Maybe I go out. But I leave and I let people know that if they say I'm going to be there at 1 o'clock and it's 12:45, hey, I'll text them, are you coming? I'm leaving here in 15 minutes. You know, like, you have to just let people know that you're not going to be here for a pickup for them to get here. And it may be a little manipulative, but if you don't set a time where you are going to leave or not be available, then people will just show up when they want, or they'll be late, or they won't call, and you just have to set the boundaries and the parameters. And the last customer, number 10, is, this has been something that I've been seeing on Facebook lately, and it is driving me insane. And it's not only for cake decorators, it's for any entrepreneur. When people will post in a group and you will get tagged, I need someone who will make a cake, and it's going to be, I need an amazing cake and that won't break the bank. So right away, they're asking for something exceptional and they want a discount. And I don't even want to be tagged in those posts or just charge a little more because I don't want to deal with it. Like, this is what I wish people would understand. It's all about the energy that you give. You know, if people come at me and want a discount, I don't want to work with you. If people come at me with appreciation, with showing me some love and some gratitude, have some extra cupcakes, here's another tier. Here, you know, I go above and beyond for people who show a little bit of appreciation. And if someone wants to come at you like that, and it just kind of goes back to what I said about the pricing in the beginning, it's hard to want to work with someone who can't appreciate your art and doesn't value you. So that was just like another extra thing that I wanted to throw in there, because my friend is a landscaper. He deals with that a lot too. These people on Facebook just asking, I need a wonderful person that won't break the bank. Because, and I go back to, if at their job they are performing exceptionally, they're going to want a raise. That's just how it is. And as your skills increase, you can charge more prices. More prices. You can charge more for your cakes. I don't know what's going on right now. I have a lot to do this week, so please excuse me if I'm all over the place. It is very easy, and this is what we are used to doing, to react to someone when they come at you. And that is exactly what you do not want to do. You need to take time, cooler heads prevail, and you need to take time to respond to them rather than react. Because it's just not going to be a good situation if someone is coming at you and you get defensive and then you come at them and there's no solution to the problem. So what I recommend is take some time. If you get an email, if you get someone coming at you, you know, just back off and take some time and try to figure out the best way to respond. It just is such a more professional way to run your business. And then you can cry or complain to your husband or your wife behind closed doors. And one more thing, I just want to say, with all the difficult customers that I have dealt with, 95% of them have been so awesome, so much fun to work with. I love seeing the pictures that they send of them with their cakes. They're very grateful, very appreciative, repeat customers. It's just, for the most part, it is good. But just like anything in business, there's also the other side that we have to talk about. So I think that is it. What other difficult situations have you guys encountered? Leave them below and we can start a little discussion about it. If you guys have any other questions or comments, you can leave them below as well. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can. I'm on Insta, Facebook, and I have my website. I'm on TikTok sometimes, but not really, but you can search me on there if you want to. Everything is listed in the description below as well. And if you want to stick around, you can watch these 2 videos next and hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't already. Please like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's cake. Not everybody's annoying. Have fun. I will see you on the next one. Bye.